0000519NA for a review of the progress made by the parents in the last report period. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Lee Heiss, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Ms. Stasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Kabinski.
Karen Spinsky, foster care worker for Runway DHS.
Michael McFarland, representing the father. Please introduce yourself.
Wesley Piper, father.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ariel Berger here on behalf of Mother Emily Gerber.
Mother Emily Gerber.
Okay, welcome. Very good. Ms. Heiss, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. I visited with the child who is placed with fictive kin, doing very well there, developmentally on target for the most part. He sleeps 11 hours a night straight through. That's a dream child. He went camping recently with the foster family, and they are meeting all of his needs in his placement. He is in daycare, so he's having socialization with other kids. He has pets and all the indicators of normalcy in that placement. Thank you.
Testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Gerber, can please be sworn in?
All right, Ms. Gerber, come on up for a witness stand.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Don't forget there's a step there.
You are Ms. Thomas, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Gerber. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good, thank you. So just to kind of get into it, the last review period, were you able to review this court report?
Yes.
And was there any areas that you felt were inaccurate in the court report as relates to your progress in your case service plan?
No.
Okay. Generally speaking, there's some areas of concern in here. And so I just kind of want to go over those. The violation of civil or criminal laws, there is a statement in here that there were gift cards taken from 7-Eleven. Were you able to pay those back at this time?
No, it wasn't gift cards. I guess during my addiction, I was doing some stupid things at 7-Eleven, and I took some money that I shouldn't have, but I made some arrangements with them to pay it back, and it's going to be paid back by the end of the month.
Okay.
I didn't realize that the drugs that I was taking, the people that was giving it to me, they were lacing it, and it would explain a lot.
And you've made arrangements, I'm sorry, just to clarify, you made arrangements with 7-Eleven to repay them by the end of the month?
Yeah.
And have you started that repayment?
Yeah.
Okay. And how much have you paid towards the total?
I have so far 200 saved up, but I'm supposed to be paid all in one lump sum at the end of the month. They don't want payments like that.
Okay. And is, from your knowledge, is it accurate that if you do not pay them, they will ask to pursue charges?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. There's an instance in here where you did not make a dental appointment for your child, and looks like there were reminders in your apartment to do that. Is there a reason you were unable to attend?
I was in rehab. I think. I'm pretty sure I was in rehab. I was in rehab June 13th.
Okay. The appointment was on June 12th.
Oh, okay. Well, I apologize.
No, that's okay. I was just wondering if there was a reason you were unable to attend. That way we know if there's areas that we can continue to support you in.
More than likely there was probably a job, but there shouldn't have been a reason to miss a dental appointment like that, especially if it's his first one.
Okay. And your psychological was rescheduled for August 19th, which would have been yesterday. Did you attend that appointment?
Yes.
Okay. And you have been in foster care supported visitation, and it looks like things have been going really well with that program.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to share about that program?
No, not really. I really like the programs. I feel like they help. It's beneficial. They really give us some helpful advice and tips, some good hints. Like honestly, there's some things that I don't know and that I do lack knowledge of with raising a child that does come along that I can ask and help, get helpful advice.
Okay. And have you started services at Parkside Family Counseling for substance abuse?
No, not yet. I was supposed to go yesterday, but I was running late because of the evaluation. So I got an appointment with them coming up in a couple days. I just had to find a good time, which there shouldn't be a reason.
Has there been any changes to your housing since the last hearing?
We went and applied with housing help. I filled out the forms with my worker, Karen.
Okay.
And there's just no funding at the moment, but we're looking for places at the moment. That's what they want us to do, is to start looking.
Okay. And your proof of income, it looks like you've been providing that at least monthly.
Yes.
And it looks like you've started to work on budgeting with Ms. Kabinski as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, she went over a budgeting sheet with us on things that we normally purchase, we normally buy, like gas, for instance. She had us put that into the monthly budget so that we can understand how much we're spending. And it did
Okay.
help.
Okay. And do you believe that you have sufficient income to meet your basic needs, including that of your child's?
Yes.
How do you feel parenting time is going?
I feel like it's going a lot better now that I'm sober. I feel like I'm more attentive to Kyler, so I'm a little nervous being up here.
It's
But,
okay. It's okay.
I just feel like I'm more like, I'm actually there for
About how long have you been sober?
June 13th.
Okay. And so since you're discharged from, was it Harbor Light or?
Yeah, I really.
Okay. What programs or treatment have you engaged in to maintain your sobriety?
So I'm going through the MAP program through Harbor Light. It's through the Work at Health program. It's a certified doctor. It's over the phone, and they helped me with my detox, and I get prescribed Suboxone. So I take 2 8 mg strips of Suboxone every day, and that helps with my sobriety. I'm not craving opioids. I'm not using, and I'm a lot happier.
Okay. Okay. Have you provided the prescription to Ms. Kabinski?
Yes.
Okay, great. Is there a reason that you have not done or are you on colors at LDC?
Yeah, I was honestly having problems with the medication I was taking because the Suboxone is a known side effect of constipation. And I ended up going to the hospital 2 times because I was so backed up. And I just went this morning to LDC and dropped, because now I'm finally like regulated back with the medication. It's like my body's finally like letting me go to the bathroom, being on Suboxone.
Okay. In the home that you're currently living in, is there, from your understanding, still issues with the individuals residing in your home?
Yeah, they all currently got served eviction notices besides my husband and I were up to date on our rent to where we didn't get served one. So within the next month, there should be an update.
Are there any other areas that you think that you could use support from the agency?
I just need to get into counseling. I feel like that's one of the things I'm lacking in, and then our housing, that's another thing that we're lacking in. Other than that, I feel like I've got the ball going on everything else. And maybe some NA meetings wouldn't hurt.
And do you know how to access those NA meetings?
Yeah, I've reached out on Facebook asking people if there were some locally. There's only one that's locally, but it's a couple miles away from me, but I also can look up online. There's an app, like an NA app.
Okay. In your opinion, what do you think is preventing you from being able to safely care for your child at this time?
Housing, mainly. I need to fix my past, my criminal activity. I need to fix all that. I'm not trying to be into that. You know, I'm not trying to be a criminal. And then being sober and staying sober, that's the main thing. Because honestly, if I'm using, Kyler's losing. So if I'm sober, then he's winning. And I don't want him losing. Like I need to be a sober mom for him. That's one of the barriers. And that's one thing that's always been a battle for me for my whole life has been sobriety.
There's some concern noted about your relationship dynamic with your spouse. Have you guys engaged in any counseling to learn how to maybe communicate in a healthier manner together?
Well, Parkside does offer that, like marriage counseling.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to say for the record?
I'm really trying to change. I wasn't trying to be a screw up. And now that I understand, like, I made some really bad choices. Now I have some time to fix them and keep going on this right path that I'm on. I'm really proud of the progress that I've made so far.
All right. Well, with that, I have no further questions of you, but other attorneys may, okay?
Hey, Ms. Berger, any questions?
Emily, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
What are some things that you think are going well or some positives from this reporting period?
Well, so far parenting time, that's going really well. And then our parenting time with our orchard teacher, that's going really well. And then at the moment, my sobriety is going really well on my program that I'm on.
And what program are you on?
The MAT program that I was talking about.
Okay. And you're still employed?
Yeah, our employment's going pretty good too.
Okay. And do you have transportation?
Yeah, I need to get my license. I need to start that.
Right. And that's something you plan to do?
Well, yeah, I got to. Winter's coming up.
Yep. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share with the court today?
Not at this time.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, but the other attorney might, okay? Or attorneys.
Mr. McFarland?
Are you aware that you can pick up a list of all the NAAA meetings at the probation department downstairs?
Yeah, that should have came to mind.
Okay, nothing further.
Ms. Hanks?
Thank you. I have no questions today.
All right, thank you for your testimony. May you return to your seat. Your next witness, Ms. Temis?
Thank you, Honor. Mr. Piper can please be sworn in.
Mr. Piper, come on up to our witness stand.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Piper, you
Hello.
heard the questions that I asked of Ms. Gerber, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm just going to kind of go through your case service plan as well. But I'll first ask if there was anything in the court report that you would like to address.
I don't think so.
Okay. And so you and Ms. Gerber are still living together in the home that she just testified to?
Yes.
How do you feel your communication with Ms. Skavinsky is going?
I don't think it's going bad.
Okay. There's a note about a family team meeting that was missed and rescheduled or attempted to be rescheduled. Were there any issues on your end that prevented that from happening?
Work.
And were you able to communicate that with Ms. Skavinsky?
Yes.
And it looks like you also missed the dental appointment for your child. Was there a reason that you missed it?
I mean, I'm sure it had something to do with work.
Okay. And were you able to attend your psychological evaluation yesterday?
Yes.
How do you feel that parenting time is going from your perspective?
I think it's going really good.
There's a note about individual counseling. Do you are you engaged in any counseling services at this time?
I tried to go through CMH and they said I didn't qualify. And I tried Catholic Charities and they said I didn't qualify. Like
One of the notes.
I have no problem doing it.
Um,
I don't know what to do.
okay, and one of the notes in the report just indicates that you're unable to identify what exactly you need help with. Is that an accurate summation of sort of where you stand on the counseling?
I didn't hear what you said.
The report indicates that you're unable to identify what it is that you need help with in counseling. Do you believe that that's accurate?
Somewhat, yeah. But that's why we were gonna do the marriage, like partner counseling.
Okay. And that's something that you believe would take place with Ms. Gerber at Parkside?
I think so.
Okay. With your employment, how is it going? I know that you're self-employed. It looks like you've provided some proof of income. How is that going now since the report was submitted?
I don't think it's really changed. Maybe got a little better.
Okay.
Anything.
And you also went through the budget with Ms. Skavinsky?
I was kind of in and out. I was watching Kyler while they were talking about it.
Okay. Generally in your marriage, who manages the finances?
It's been starting to be me a little bit more, but it was kind of both of us during.
Okay. Do you feel that the income you have and the budget that you've reviewed is, I guess, demonstrates an ability to adequately provide for your family, including your child?
Yes.
Is there anything from the court report that you would like to address in addition to what we just went over, or anything else you'd like the court to know?
Just that I'm trying to get my boy back, trying to do right for him.
Okay. Okay. From the best of your knowledge, is Ms. Gerber maintaining her sobriety to the best of your knowledge?
Yes,
Were you aware that she was using before she became sober?
a little bit, but not always.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Questions, Mr. McFarland?
I do. What were you going to see Catholic Charities and Community Mental Health as far as counseling or services? What were you seeking from it?
Well, when Emily was using, we'd kind of bicker back and forth because I wanted her to get clean. So along that kind of line, like just help with talking to her and stuff like that.
So now through Parkside, what is your goal of the counseling? So everybody's kind of on the same page.
Just, I mean, we're a lot better off now, so I mean, just, I guess, talking, I don't really know.
Fair enough.
I'm nervous.
Have you been explained what your priorities should be as far as the case service plan?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you have any questions about that?
no,
Anything else you wanted to express to the court today?
no, I think that's it.
Okay, nothing further, Your Honor.
Any questions, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Heiss?
Does your job require you to drive?
Yes,
And you don't have a driver's license, right?
no, I'm working on that.
What are you doing to work on that?
Well, the blow test that Karen is doing, that should help.
With the Secretary of State?
Yeah,
Have you tried to get your driver's license back in the past?
no, because the court, they shredded all my papers when I completed it early. So I couldn't, you had to have all that stuff to get your license back.
Have you ever had a driving license suspended ticket?
Yeah.
What is
Oh,
your,
no, I haven't.
okay. Why is your license suspended?
DUIs?
Are you in any kind of treatment?
No.
Thank you, I have nothing further.
All right, thank you for your testimony. May you return your seat.
I
Did you have redirect or?
do.
request? Okay, any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
I have none.
Okay, all right, Mr. McFarland has no question for you. Go ahead.
Has anybody ever told you that to get your driver's license back, you have to swear that you haven't driven in 2 years or not consumed alcohol in 2 years before you've gotten it back? Has anybody ever told you that's how these hearings work?
No.
Okay, nothing further.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. May I return your seat? Okay, anyone else who'd like us to hear from Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Kabinski can please be sworn in.
Kavinsky, come on forward.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Kabinski, did you prepare the court report that is before us today?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, are there any updates that need to be made to the court report or any of its attachments?
The updates I would have, like they had mentioned, we did their psych evals yesterday. I transported them up to Hillsdale, so we got those done. Emily went to LDC this morning. That was the first time since March that she had been there. So she went and did a drug screen there this morning. So those are the only updates I have off the top of my head.
And generally, how would you describe, I mean, I know we went through this with the parents, but how would you describe the parents' level of compliance with and benefit from their case service plan?
There's areas they're doing okay, and like they do really well in parenting time. Emily did complete treatment at Harbor Light and she's maintained her sobriety so far, but there are still a lot of areas of concern that we need to work on.
And your recommendation for today is to continue supervised parenting time. What risks do you see for the parents to expand into unsupervised parenting time?
I mean, at this time, I would like to see Emily maintain her sobriety much longer, as well as just to monitor that they're still doing well in parenting time.
If the court grants unsupervised parenting time, where do they have a home that it would be appropriate for the child to go to for parenting time?
Honestly, I don't know. We've done one visit at Wesley's mom's house and that was appropriate, but they do not have their own home that would be appropriate to do visits at.
And transportation, is that something that the department would have to continue to provide?
Yes, for Kyler.
And are the parents coming prepared for parenting time with diapers, food, whatever his needs
Yes,
are?
they always do. They have everything
Wonderful.
that Kyler needs.
And generally, what would you say the risk of harm would be to return the child to their care and custody today?
Right now, the housing is still an issue. Emily and Wesley have not engaged in any mental health treatment, so that is an issue.
And some of the treatment goals may come out of the psychological. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. As far as the income and budgeting, do you believe that they earn a sufficient income to meet their needs and their child's needs?
I believe they earn a sufficient amount of income to meet their needs, yes.
Let's see. As this is a permanency planning hearing, I believe, or I'm not sure actually. If it
It's
is,
not. Next one.
it's
would
not,
be-
okay, okay,
I don't think so. I'll
Um,
double check.
okay. And Ms. Skavinsky, while that sort of happened in the background, has there been any significant change to even reconsider the goal of reunification at this point in time?
Since this was, I believe, not a permanency planning hearing, I did not think about considering a goal change, so.
Sure, and I'm just confirming that nothing significant has happened that would even make you want to bring that to the court's attention today. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything from your court report or the attachments that you would really like to highlight for the court's attention?
Nothing to highlight, no.
Okay. And for the goals for the parents, it sounds like housing is one of the priorities and also mental health treatment.
Yes.
Okay. And you heard Ms. Gerber's testimony that it might be helpful to just get a little bit of additional support in reviewing possible NA meetings.
Yeah, I mean, we have talked about it a little bit in the past. She knows that there's groups at Parkside where she's considering doing her individual counseling at. So I
Okay.
can help her find somewhere else if she doesn't want to do the groups at Parkside.
And do you have any other concerns that you would like to bring to the court's attention or just highlight from your court report?
No.
Okay, thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Skavinsky. I would move to admit the court report with its attachments.
No
No.
objection.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received. Questions for this witness, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
As soon as the psychological report is received, would you share that with all counsel so we don't have to wait for the next report?
Sure. Yes.
And of course, the clients will also get a written copy.
Yeah.
And my client did tell you he's trying to address this mental health and community mental health. Not accept them. He told you that?
He told me that Catholic Charities wouldn't accept him. I did not know about CMH.
Do you know why Catholic Charities wouldn't accept them? Did you follow through with that?
Yeah, I talked with the counselor there. She said that she couldn't even complete the assessment because she was feeling based on his self-report that he wasn't meeting criteria for anything. She couldn't give him a diagnosis that would allow for insurance to be billed. So he wasn't able to report any areas of need.
Presumably you will be checking with community mental health regarding the same, and if he needs to sign a waiver, you present that to him.
Yeah,
Have you considered maybe some type of mix of visitation where, well, let me come back to that. But do you test them for drug use before visits?
I test Emily, yes. Wesley does not appear to have a substance abuse issue, so I don't do him every single visit. I just do him sort of random.
So why couldn't they come together for visits, correct?
Yes, sorry.
So why couldn't you test mother, let them go out into the public, come back and test her again, and see that she's clean? Why couldn't we start to some type of transition like that?
I think it's something I would like to think longer about and also wait for them to finish their parenting education with Sabrina, she is the coordinator for foster care support visitation, and see like maybe if she recommends that they could be unsupervised.
I see. Correct me if I'm wrong, but about the only really negative critique you have for the visits is that they're sometimes on their phones when they shouldn't be. Would that be accurate?
Yeah,
So I guess if there's nothing negative at the visits, what is your true concern then?
I mean. I don't know.
Prioritization. Am I hearing you that housing is what is the priority, or maybe you can tell us what the priority is for father as far as meeting the goals?
Yeah, housing is an ongoing issue as well as mental health treatment is something he needs to engage in.
I suppose psychological report would assist us with that in some methods, correct?
Correct.
Heard them testify that the other tenants are in the process of being evicted. Would that satisfy your housing requirements?
No, because I don't know who's being evicted. I guess you don't really know if these people actually leave. You don't know who's moving in after they leave. Like,
Well, you would check into that.
Right.
Is it the house itself, or is the individuals who's there with them? I mean, what is your concern with the housing?
it's the individuals who live in this house.
Fair enough. Do you like them to maybe present the names of individuals who may come in the future, so you can do a background check and advise them if these are suitable or not?
Yeah,
Okay. I guess, do you think, well, no, it's perhaps somewhat speculative, but if the psychological report comes out, my client wants to go back to community mental health or Catholic Charities or Parkside, do you kind of a system in that?
yes, if he needs assistance.
Possibility he doesn't need mental health then, assistance.
I'm confused what you're asking.
Well, you said if he needs assistance.
I thought you meant like, does he need assistance making an appointment to schedule intake after his psychological comes back?
Well-
Yes, I can assist with that.
Apparently he tried 2 places and they rejected him, so I don't know, maybe if they need some clarification from you as to what they're looking for or not.
I mean, if he reschedules with Catholic Charities, I would send them the psych eval.
Fair enough, okay. Nothing further.
You testified that Ms. Gerber completed treatment.
I may have misspoke. She went to treatment, but she was not discharged by staff there. She did just leave treatment.
And did you get a discharge summary from them?
I requested it and I did not get it. I just got the intake packet from them, but I talked to the nursing on the phone there.
And what did you learn from talking to the nursing?
They had told me that she had just left and she was going to seek outpatient treatment.
And that she had been in and out for a couple of days before that last day where she left.
Correct.
You have a copy of Miss Gerber's prescription, correct?
Yes,
And you're assuming that she's refilled it since the copy of the prescription that you had was June 18th, right?
yes,
And it was for 30 days, so she must have more updated than that.
right.
Because if she doesn't, and she's testing positive, there'd be a problem.
I agree, yes.
So will you continue to get those updated prescription?
Yeah,
Could you also run a MAPS report on her to see that she's not getting prescriptions any other place?
sure.
On the screens for Mr. Piper, you're not testing for alcohol, correct?
No, but he's been blowing at the sheriff's department
For what purpose?
for alcohol.
For this case?
Yeah,
Where are those tests?
that,
results?
it's the very last letter on the case service plan.
Very last letter, where's the results though?
I believe I put it in there, but I mean, he has blown 0 every single time, but
Okay. That might have been this one document that was sideways and kind of hard to read, but his alcohol screens are in this, oh, I bet you, no, that's 7-11 page stubs. Anyway, you've monitored them and he's blowing zeros.
right.
And what is the pattern for when he's screening?
Well, you have to schedule with the sheriff's department. It's not, doesn't seem like it's something you can drop in. So I have them going Mondays and Thursdays at 8 AM.
So that's not random.
No.
And it isn't before visits.
Thursdays, it's like an hour and a half before visits, an hour, 2 hours. And Mondays, no, because they used to have parenting time on Mondays when I had set up that schedule, but it seems Sabrina, who does the foster care supported visitation, is doing Fridays now.
What I'm really worried about is you, Sabrina, other people telling the family things that aren't helping in this respect. Driver's license, do you know what Wesley needs to have his driver's license reinstated?
He told me he went to the Secretary of State and he has to complete AA 90 days before he can reapply. So he would need to do AA, I guess. And then I think he has to have letters regarding his character and his sobriety, and maybe 3 of them. He needed to have the completion of his probation, the paperwork. He had thought the probation department shredded it. I was able to pull those records and provided them to him, so he does have records of the completion of his probation.
That's excellent, thank you. What about, you said that mother is sober. What is your definition of sober?
She's doing her prescribed opioid dependence medication right now.
So do you indicate to her that that's the same thing as being sober? Is that what you,
If a doctor is saying that is her sobriety, yes.
who says that that's sobriety?
Her doctor who's prescribing her opioid dependence medication.
Is that in one of our reports?
A little confused what you're asking.
In addition to not using the drug, isn't there treatment that's anticipated when you're on medication-assisted treatment?
Yes, like she meets with the prescriber of this medication.
And also, so just not using the drug, that's healthy and clean. I'm really worried that you're passing this information to the family and that they won't know what's expected. Are you willing to check what the rehab needs are of this mom?
Yes.
Will you also look into medication-assisted treatment and the potential for abuse?
Yeah.
It looks like you had at least one screen where the buprenorphine was higher than cutoff limits.
Yeah, so I called because, I mean, I just didn't understand in general, like what the percentages were, and they told me anything less than 1,000 is a normal level. There was one where she was over 2,000 on that, and they said likely what happened is if I screened her right after she took it, the residue was still in her mouth because of how high it was. So going forward, to have her rinse her mouth before she's doing the drug screen, I suppose we don't really know for sure by that drug screen specifically if she was abusing it or not, but
Did you ask that doctor what levels you should be seeing for, using the buprenorphine on, label?
her doctor, the LDC, or the LDC, sorry, forensic fluids.
Whoever you talk to about
Yeah,
that.
I talked to forensic fluids and they said anything under 1,000 is a pretty standard, like, prescription amount.
Okay, when the dentist appointment was missed, was she in treatment?
No,
So that was a June, she went to treatment, but she was not in treatment on the day of the dentist appointment.
no, she wasn't.
Any idea how we can support her? It sounds like she had a whiteboard with the appointment, she had a great big note with the appointment, you had been there the days before, what else can we do to help?
I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further, thanks.
Any redirect?
Yes. Ms. Kabinski, Mr. McFarland asked about any concerns to move to unsupervised parenting time, in which it seems that you struggle to have an answer, but I'm curious about that because the court report indicates that the parents have been offered additional parenting time and they have refused to do that. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
Have they, and in your opinion, does that pose any risk to the child? I guess their unwillingness to or inability to expand parenting time?
could you rephrase the question for me, maybe?
What concerns do you have about the parents not accepting additional parenting time?
That they just don't want to do it in general. Like they don't want to spend more time with their son.
Okay, thank you. And are you continuing to offer that on a weekly basis, like an additional parenting time?
Yes.
And what is the reason that they provide as to why they cannot or will not engage in that additional parenting time?
Typically, it's because they tell me they need to work. Sometimes I don't get a response at all when I offer the visit, like nobody texts me back, so.
Okay. Okay, I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any recross?
No.
No,
Okay, thank you for your testimony. May I return to your seat? Thank you. Anyone else would like us to hear from Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
I'd like to call my client, please.
Okay, Mr. Piper, come on back up. I'm just gonna remind you that you remain under oath. Okay?
Good.
Yep, come
Am
on
I
up.
good to go?
I know you had a reaction and were indicating to me something when the worker just said that you were offered additional parenting time and turned it down. Is that true?
No,
Did you ever tell her that you could not take parenting time because you're working?
yes.
Oh, that's what she means by turning down parenting time, is that?
Oh, well, I meant, we told her that we couldn't do it because we were working. If
Okay.
you were working in a factory, well, I don't think they would just let you go off of work and go have a visit with your kid, right?
So it's not refusing, it's that you were occupied at a job, right?
Yeah,
Can you maybe let the court know what you were doing, so the court knows that you really had to finish what you were doing? Let us know what you're doing.
I mean, it was like a landscaping job, I think it was.
Okay. Okay. And then you let her know that, correct?
I thought we did,
Okay, and
because usually like me and Emily talk and she usually texts her.
if you weren't working, would you accept additional parenting time?
Yes,
Okay. Is there any time that's better for you? Let's say rainy days, perhaps?
yes,
When it's dark, I presume you're not landscaping or scrapping at that time, right?
yes,
It gets dark earlier. And the other times when it's more convenient to parent, to have visits.
yeah.
Any other times I'm asking you?
Oh, any other time?
Yes.
Like weekends are pretty good, if you could somehow do a weekend,
Do you work every day or might you have a day off occasionally?
yeah,
That you would have a day off occasionally?
yeah.
What do you think about letting your worker know when you have a day off so she can maybe attempt to do a parenting time? Would you be up to that?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you disagreed with that she was saying up there that you wanted to address?
Yeah, because we took on extra hours on our visits, and it was 2 of them, and we had 2 4-hour visits.
Okay, and what context is that?
Well, she said that we haven't been, or we've been denying extra parenting time.
Got you, and she offered you extra hours and you've taken those extra hours. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, and you will down the road if you're not working. Let me ask you, what happens if you just walk off a job that somebody's paying you for to have visits? What happens to you then?
You don't get paid.
Yeah. Are the requirements that you have a job and bring in money, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Nothing further.
Any questions for Mr. Piper from any of our other attorneys? No?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Mr. McFarland?
Oh, thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
No, thank you.
Well, comments in closing, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. It's nice to see that there's been, I guess, some maintaining of status quo here, not a ton of negatives to report during this review period. I will say it is concerning. I understand that there's a struggle between having to maintain income and work, and then also parents. And I think the main concern the department has seen is the lack of initiative to increase that bond by accepting parenting time, rearranging their schedule in order to do that. If a parent were working in a factory or somewhere else where there were set schedules, the agency would work around that. And I don't know if it's lack of communication with Ms. Skibinski in order to understand their scheduling limitations. But as a self-employed individual, it seems that there should be some wiggle room from the parents as well. With that, we have a mother who's new in sobriety and a father who really couldn't tell if his wife was using or not. And I think that those also pose a risk to the child during parenting time. It is a freshly stabilized situation. And I think that Ms. Heiss's questioning also might get to the point of perhaps there's still a lot of exploration that needs to be done around the term sobriety for mom at this time. So with that, Your Honor, we are asking that the court continue supervised parenting time with the understanding that the agency or the department is offering extended parenting time. And I think that we have a lot of information to uncover from the psychological evaluations, which would have already been completed, but the parents did not show at the last scheduled appointment. So we are asking for that supervised parenting time and a 90-day review to also be set with a permanency planning hearing. Thank you.
Comments, Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we would ask for another review period. I do think it is important to get that psychological back, and I'm glad that my client was able to complete that yesterday. I think we have had maybe a neutral reporting period. There are some things that my client is doing successfully that she is compliant with. We would just ask for more time to work those case services and for her to continue to progress, and hopefully we can move towards unsupervised visits. I know that my client would like more visits, and hopefully she's able to coordinate those with her schedule. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
The court heard my client attempted twice to engage in counseling and was turned down. We're hopeful that the psychological report, if submitted to a counselor, will assist them with what my client needs, because he does want to be reunited as a family unit. I understand the definition of refusal, but I think it's also intent, Your Honor. The intent is not just to say I don't want to visit, but if he's in the middle of a job and an opportunity comes up, he can't just drop everything. He makes a good explanation that if you're in a factory and you're given an opportunity, you wouldn't be able to just quit and just go and visit. But we have heard now, there are times that are better than others for extra parenting time. And that when he's available, he will also positively reach out to let them know. I haven't heard her father's really a risk. I don't know why, at least some of his parenting time couldn't be taking the kids out of a sterile office in a park, in the sunshine, someplace other than that. I doesn't seem to be a risk of his parenting skills that I'm hearing of, Your Honor. So maybe some of his parenting time doesn't have to be together. It can be where he's able to go out and have the kids experience normalization, which is what we're trying to accomplish here. So I think he knows where he needs to go. The report asked for a 60-day review. I agree with the 90-day review, Your Honor.
Ms.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think the person in this room that knows most about recovery is Ms. Gerber. She used to lead meetings, she used to open meetings, she used to make coffee at meetings, and she knows what I mean, that her medication-assisted treatment needs the therapy component. It needs the treatment component. And until we get her back in and doing that, we don't have a secure recovery. Abstinence, not taking away the drug is half of the battle, and we're there. So it's not a mystery what I'm talking about for the rest of her recovery. I would ask you to consider ordering her to at least, you can do those online. You can do them in the community. She knows what those are like, and it was her best time when she used to do those things. I would ask you to consider that the child's needs are being met in his current placement, and that in this last review period, we had so much progress, and it isn't sufficient to consider the child safe. We've got a new police report. We've got leaving treatment early, but we're headed in the right direction, and that's a real victory. So I'd ask you to consider ordering some kind of compliance with AA and NA, because mom can do it and dad could go too. Mr. Piper probably could use that for his driver's license, which we all need him to have, so that he doesn't get arrested and set us back in this case. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's review hearing, which I think may possibly have been announced as also a permanency planning hearing for today, but I didn't make it in the last order, so that's okay. We're early on. This is our second regular review in this case. There have been some efforts made by the parents in the last report period, and certainly plenty of reasonable efforts towards the goal of reunification by Ms. Gubinsky. Thank you also to Ms. Heiss, who's certainly in compliance with her obligations as guardian ad litem. I too am familiar with the case and with history of Ms. Gerber and even of Mr. Piper, as he was ancillary to some of the other cases we had prior to today. You're just going to have to keep trying and working on a lot of the things that were talked about today. We're going to have our next review hearing on 11/12 at 10 a.m. In the meantime, the child will remain in his fictive kin placement. That is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances. Both parents need to work on looking at a secure household for themselves and for their child. And Ms. Gerber needs to demonstrate further period of sobriety. I'm looking forward to Mr. Piper's psychological evaluation as well, to see if there are ways we can't support him in finding his way forward and being able to create a stable and secure environment for himself and his family. There are certainly some frustrations there that continue to plague him, and hopefully some of those insights through the psychological will be able to show us where the problems are and how and whether they can be solved, if you will. So as they work on those items, the child is safest in the environment where he is currently. He's doing well there, and I look forward to the updates on all of the key services when we come back on November 12th, 2024 at 10 a.m. It's going to be up to Ms. Gerber whether she wants to show us her commitment to sobriety And that's what we need to see, and she knows that too. So we'll see what happens. Good luck to you in the next report period. See you in November. I've got a copy of Discord order for you.
Want them way out